Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, racers and Formula One fans alike. With 5 races out of the way, we are now in the middle of our first transfer window here at the Talk of the Devil Racing League. Now, this video, it's just to summarize what's happened in the championship so far. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, because these race results, they're going to play a pivotal role as far as the transfers are concerned. But who made the transfers? Well, you'll find out right here. So, the first race of the season, as always, we kick off in Australia. And it was a very interesting affair. Pole position was taken by Gary Braden for the first 3 races of the season. Australia, Bahrain and China. And Gary would go on to win the race in Australia, with Stephen Harrison in second and defending champion Callum Howard in 3rd place. Panagiotis was 4th, then Kieran Riddle for Red Bull Racing was 5th. In 6th place, we had Cesar Lopez for Sport Pacer Racing Point Formula 1 team. Kyle Keegan for McLaren in 7th. Gregor Telford for Sport Pacer Racing Point Formula 1 team in 8th. Willem Brits, one of the legends of the Formula 1 community, 9th for Williams. And rounding up the top 10 was Matthew Dixon in Renault. The fastest lap points went to Jamie Callan for the Toro Rosso team, as he finished 11th, and the fastest lap point inside the top 10 went to Callum Howard. Seconds out, round 2, and our defending champion Callum Howard did not take part in this race. But he managed to make it for the next race. Panagiotis, unfortunately, was unable to finish the race. Stephen Harrison managed to get the win and the fastest lap. Gary took 2nd, with 3rd place going to one of the reserve drivers, Michael Handel, for Racing Point. 4th place, we had Jamie for Toro Rosso. 5th place, we had Kyle Keegan for McLaren. In 6th, we had Willem Brits for Williams. 7th was Dino Harrison, who is Stephen's brother. He managed to get 7th for Red Bull Racing. 8th was Jorge Klatza. If I pronounced that wrong, I apologise. He got 8th for Williams, so first time this season that Williams managed to score points with both their cars. 9th was Gareth Lambourne in the Haas. And rounding up the top 10 was Luke Unthank, or Unthank, however you pronounce it. Again, I apologise if I pronounced it wrong. Luke rounding up the top 10. The fastest lap points went to Matthew Dixon for Renault, who finished 11th. And again, I mentioned Stephen managed to take the fastest lap for that race. And Steve and Gary was once again on pole position. China, who hosted race 1000 earlier this season for the Formula 1, host to the 3rd round of the championship. And a huge shocker was that Callum Howard, with his first DNF of his career, which derailed his momentum for the championship, but hopefully things start to pick up soon. Gary Braden, again on pole, took the win and the fastest lap. Stephen Harrison in 2nd, which put Gary back at the top of the championship. 3rd went to Kyle Keegan for McLaren. 4th was one of the reserve drivers, Anthony Waddington, for Alfa Romeo. We had a reserve driver for Ferrari. He managed to finish 5th, a great debut for him. 6th and 7th were the Red Bulls of Dino Harrison and Kieran Riddle. 8th was Cesar Lopez for Racing Point. 9th was Devon Little for Alfa Romeo. And in 10th was Michael Handel filling in for Jorge in the Williams. Again, I mentioned the fastest lap went to Gary Braden. And the fastest lap outside the top 10 was Michael Booker, reserve driver for McLaren. Azerbaijan, and it was chaos for round 4. And that's an understatement. Both Ferraris not finishing the race. Gary Braden did not participate in this race, which meant Stephen needed a good result to take the lead in the championship. And sure enough, he did. He managed to take the win, but it was Panagiotis that took pole position. But again, I mentioned that Panagiotis and reserve driver Jabe Lu didn't finish the race. Stephen ended up going on to win the race. And Anthony Waddington was running second right up until the final straight. And he ended up giving the second place back to Callum Harrod, who encountered technical issues towards the tail end of the race. Kieran Riddle, 4th for Red Bull. In 5th, Willem Brits, his best finish of the season. Ross Pilgrim, reserve driver for Red Bull, filling in for Dino Harrison, came in 6th. Jorge coming 7th. Caesar was 8th. Matthew Dixon was 9th. And rounding up the top 10 was John Taylor, reserve driver for Toro Rosso. The fastest lap outside the top 10 went to Gregor Telford. And now we come to Spain for the 5th round of the championship. And Callum Harrod didn't participate in this race due to medical reasons. But as assured us, he will be back on track soon enough. So Callum, we wish you a speedy recovery. Stephen managed to put it on pole position, making it his first pole position of the season. Kieran in the Red Bull was 2nd, and he took the fastest lap in the race. Stephen went on to win, extending his lead at the top of the championship. 3rd was Anthony Waddington for Alfa Romeo. It was his 2nd podium of the season. 4th was Gary Braden. 5th was Caesar. So 6th place for that race went to Michael Booker. It turns out Michael Booker isn't actually showing up in the standings, the season results for that Grand Prix, because he was in the Mercedes. 7th was Jamie in the Toro Rosso. Kyle Keegan was 8th in McLaren. Devon in Alfa Romeo was 9th, and Willem Brits rounding up the top 10. That's Willem's 4th points finish of the season. The fastest lap points went to Kieran in the Red Bull and Gregor in the Racing Point. So those are the results. But now the big question is, what happens as far as the standings are concerned? Well, at the top of the championship, it's Stephen Harrison for Mercedes with 113 points, a 32-point lead over Gary Braden, who is 2nd. Kieran Riddle, with his podium places, managed to get up to 3rd with 47 points. Kyle Keegan has 35. Callum Harrod is 5th with 34 points. Cesar Lopez, 26. Willem Brits, 21. Jamie Callan with 20 points. Dino Harrison with 14 points. And Panagiotis rounding up the top 10 with 12 points. Jorge has 10 points. Gregor Telford has 8. Matthew Dixon has 5. Devon has 4. Gareth has 2. Luke has 1. And that leaves Lee Edwards, Hussein Marquez, Jimmy Lafrenia, and Chris Bethel, all yet to score points in the championship. In the constructors, it's a very interesting table, but no surprise as to who is at the top. Defending champions Mercedes with 155 points, Ferrari with 103, Red Bull with 69, Racing Point with 49 points, McLaren with 38, Williams with 32, Alfa Romeo with 31, Toro Rosso with 21, Renault with 20, and Haas with just 2 points. So that is how it all stands at the moment. We shall wait and see what happens as we approach the next race, which will be in Canada in less than 2 weeks from now. Coverage will be live on Twitch, and the races will be available to view anytime on the YouTube channel not too long afterwards. And that's it for me this evening, folks. And I will see you guys back out on track pretty soon. What's going to happen with the transfers? You'll hear it first right here. But until then, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. It's a good night from me, and thanks for watching.